Good morning, students. In the previous class, we had started off with the lesson, the Browning version, and we have already completed significant portion of the chapter. In today's class, we will take up last two major subheadings of this lesson, and the first one is Mr. Crocker Harris' personality. Taplow makes fun of Mr. Crocker Harris by saying that it would have been better if he were a sadist, as it would mean he had some feelings. But he is hard like a nut. He is heartless. He possesses no feelings at all. Taplow feels that Mr. Crocker Harris is all dried up and hates that people like him. Taplow finds it funny that in spite of all the crankiness, he somehow likes Mr. Crocker Harris. Taplow recalls an incident when Mr. Crocker Harris made one of his classic jokes. It was in Latin, so nobody laughed. Out of sheer courtesy, Taplow laughed at the joke. This proved to be a bad move by Taplow. Mr. Crocker Harris complimented him by saying that Taplow's Latin had improved greatly. Mr. Crocker Harris then asked Taplow to explain the joke to the whole class. Just then the door opens and Millie Crocker Harris enters. In the next major subheadings, we will discuss about Millie Crocker and her characteristics. And I have divided the heading as Millie Crocker Harris brings relief to Taplow. Millie Crocker Harris, Mr. Crocker Harris' wife, is a thin woman in her late 30s. She is smartly dressed, unlike other schoolmasters' wives. She comes in unnoticed. Taplow was still imitating Mr. Crocker Harris when Mr. Frank noticed her and broke off suddenly. Taplow gets frantic and asks Mr. Frank if Millie Crocker Harris could have heard their conversation. Mr. Frank thinks that she did. Taplow fears that if she tells anything to Mr. Crocker Harris, then he will surely get a bad result. Millie Crocker Harris asks Taplow if he was waiting for her husband. She further informs him that her husband is busy at the bursars and might get late. She asks him to leave. Taplow is doubtful and says Mr. Crocker Harris had particularly asked him to come. She advises him to go away for a quarter of an hour and then come back. Taplow is scared and asks what if Mr. Crocker Harris comes back. Millie Crocker Harris gives him relief by saying that she will take the blame. She gives him a prescription and sends him to the chemist to get it filled. Convinced, Taplow accepts the proposal and leaves happily. Dear students, this entire play talks about the teacher student relationship and generally the opinions students frame about their teachers. And many a times it doesn't hold true. In the next class, we will be discussing about the respective character traits of each character. Till then, thank you.